This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hey guys, Keith Engel for TGI Sports Talk right here on Northeast Streaming Sports. We're happy that you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter today and catch this vlog on demand and on Roku very soon. This weekly vlog, we try to do weekly. Last week I had two. So I guess that's what a weekly vlog is. It's every week. So now that we've established that, what I want to talk about today for a little bit is the Yankees and what they've done up until now, what they haven't done, and what they still need to do. So we all know the Yankees have made a couple moves. And I think what's as important as what they've done is what they haven't done. I really felt they need to address catcher, which they've done a bit, shortstop, which they've done a bit for the short term, center field, and probably pitching. And first base. Now, I was all in on Freddie Freeman. Once Freddie Freeman was clear he wasn't going back to the Braves, which was pretty clear all winter, because once Freddie Freeman hadn't signed by the time the lockout started on December 2nd, it was clear he was upset about that, and the Braves were going to have a hard time bringing him back. Freddie Freeman is the type of guy that I think really is great to have on a ball club, not just for his on-field presence and the performance and the numbers that he brings, but the presence that he brings to the field, the leadership in the clubhouse. The Braves are going to miss him. And it's a shame that this guy can't finish out his career as a Brave, and that's another topic for another day. We don't see these, 20-year career guys with one team anymore. The Derek Jeters may never happen again. I hope the Yankees lock up Aaron Judge and that he's one of those guys. We probably won't talk too much about that today, but the Yankees need to get it done with Aaron Judge. In my mind, he showed last year he can stay healthy. He's the face of the franchise, and they need to keep him in place, and he gets it. But what have the Yankees done so far? So to address shortstop and to address the catcher situation, they made a trade with the Twins where they gave up Gary Sanchez, which is fine, and Gio Urshela, which I'm not terribly happy about, but if that's what it took to get rid of Sanchez, then I guess that's what we had to do. And in that trade, they bring back Josh Donaldson, who in my mind, his best days are behind him. Never been a big fan anyway, just because I think, I don't know. There was a game when he was in Toronto where he charged a mound against, I can't remember who the Yankee pitcher was, and I want to say it was in 2015. And it was ridiculous, nonsensical. He obviously wasn't being thrown at, and I won't rehash that whole thing, but I just have had issues with Josh Donaldson and his attitude through the years. But Josh Donaldson was a great player, and he's not anymore. He's not as good defensively as Gio. He may not even be as good offensively as Gio anymore. So again, if this is what I had to do to get rid of Gary Sanchez, maybe I'm okay. Plus, we get to improve the shortstop defense with the acquisition of Kiner Falafa. I hope I say his name right or somewhat right. Who's a pretty good defensive player. And last year he batted .271 with 8 homers, 53 RBIs, and 20 stolen bases with Texas. So I think he's a good short-term solution, and he may end up being a utility player for the Yankees later on. They also brought in a catcher. Where is he? Where's our catcher we brought in here? Oh gosh, Ben Rortvent, who's good defensively by all accounts, and anything that's not Gary Sanchez at this point is a plus. Now, whether Kiner Falafa will play long term is still up in the air. I still think the Yankees will bring up Flope or bring up Peraza, and maybe both. If not this season, then early next year. And I believe Peraza is going to play second base in the minors, and Volpe is going to play shortstop, which maybe they'll bring them up as a tandem, similar to what the Tigers did years and years and years ago with Dallin Trammell and Lou Whitaker. And hopefully these guys play 10 years together. Or maybe one of them becomes trade bait. But it's quite possible we'll see these guys by midseason. The Yankees may not be done trading. They traded Luke Voigt today. Luke Voigt, excuse me. I don't remember who they got for him. I don't know that much about the pitcher who they got for Voigt today. We'll talk more about that in further episodes. But the Yankees needed to improve first base. Freeman would have been a perfect acquisition, I guess, in the short term. Re-signing Rizzo will work. Rizzo, was a field general when he came in here, and the infield defense immediately got better. Part of that was getting Torres off shortstop. And there's some debate whether DJ LeMahieu or Torres will be the second baseman. Right now, I would think it would be Torres, and they'd move LeMahieu around the infield to play virtually every day. Donaldson can't play every day at third base anymore. Rizzo's going to need some time off, against certain left-handers probably. So, DJ will get his at-bats playing around the infield and maybe some DH. There's talk about Stanton playing some first base. I don't know if I'm in love with that idea because it's going to hurt the defense, but we'll see. But Luke Voigt getting out of here is essential. Now, what the Yankees haven't done is address the outfield situation or the starting pitching situation. We're going into the season more than likely, unless something happens in the next few days. Again, they got a pitcher for Voigt, but nothing that to me is going to be, earth-shattering as far as impact. We'll see. We'll talk more about him. But in the outfield right now, what do we got? We got Joey Gallo in left field. You got Aaron Hicks most likely in center field. And you got Stanton or Judge and Wright, sorry. And you've got Stanton behind them and as a DH, obviously. They've got Gardy back in on a kind of a contingency deal if they don't make another deal for an outfielder. I think, I love Gardy more than anybody else, as much as anybody else, I guess. But his time's up. He played too much last year. If Gardy's going to be here as a fifth outfielder, well, maybe I'll live with that. But right now, they got to make an improvement because Aaron Hicks, again, I can't go into the season counting on Aaron Hicks. And there's guys the Yankees could have brought in here. They could have brought in the kid from Japan. Oh, gosh, what's his name? Help me out. Gosh, isn't that terrible? I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Whatever. I can't remember his name, but they could have brought him in. They could have brought Castellano in. Maybe they still will from the Reds. Had a career year. He broke out the last couple of seasons. Not sure if he can play center field or not. But he's a possibility. Michael Conforto might be a possibility. Those guys you might get in now at this point in the season, you might get, or the off season, you might get them in on a 1-year contract, a make good kind of contract. And the starting rotation, man, behind Cole. Are we confident going into the season with a rotation of Cole? Jordan Montgomery is your number 2. Luis Severino, who pitched about, 6 innings last year. Nelson Cortez, who did a great job last year. But can we count him into your fourth starter? Domingo Germán, who likely was the number 5, is already hurt. Is somebody like Luis Gil or Clark Schmidt going to step up? I hope so. I love Schmidt's potential. And then you got James Tallien, who's an injury issue. Whether he'll be ready for the start of the season is still up in the air. And I mean, he pitched well most of last season. The Yankees still got some work to do here, guys. We need to get some more depth at starting pitching. We need to get a center fielder. I just mentioned two possibilities anyway. And they may need to trade Torres to do it. And I'm okay. Trade Torres, get some pitching in here. Maybe get a center fielder. I'm not sure you're going to get both in that deal. Bring in one of the remaining free agents. And again, I'm okay with either Castellano, which I'm saying his name right, or Conforto. Get him in here in a one-year deal, maybe with an option for a second year. People aren't knocking down their doors, obviously. But get those guys in here, shore up the outfield, trade Torres for some pitching help, and then quite possibly mid-season, we look to bring up Volpe and Peraza, or one or the other. And then you can play Volpe at shortstop and move Falafa over to second base, because Falafa could play all over the infield at some point. He could be that guy, or DJ could be the second baseman, and Falafa again be that, or Falafa go to second base and DJ be the utility guy, or vice versa. Or you bring up both. You can play DJ more at first base, depending on what Rizzo does. You play DJ at third and first base. Do some DHing. He'll get plenty of at-bats, I promise you. The Yankees need an infusion of young talent here. And I think it's time. We're getting close, because by all intents, all indications, Volpe and Peraza are ready, or close to ready. And the Yankees don't look like World Series contenders. Will they make the playoffs in an extended playoff field? Yeah, probably. But they can do that with two kids playing, bringing excitement to the ballpark every day, freeing up the Yankees to not have to rely on Josh Donaldson to play every day, and moving DJ around the infield, having Falafa as backup, or one of those guys could be trade bait for more pitching. The catching, you know what? The kid they picked up from the Twins, by all intents and purposes, is a good defensive catcher, better than Gary Sanchez. And Gary Sanchez being out of here is addition by subtraction. So do I like what the Yankees have done? I like Falafa. I like what he can bring to this team. I like the fact that Torres is not going to be playing shortstop, hopefully at all. I like the fact that maybe the kids will come up by mid-season, start of next season at the latest. I don't like we didn't go after Freddie Freeman. I don't like we didn't go after the kid from Japan to play the outfield. I don't like that we haven't addressed the center field situation. Got to be done, Brian Cashman. Need depth at the pitching spot. You can't go into the season, I don't think, and have to rely on big innings out of Cortez and big innings out of German and big innings out of either Gill or Schmidt. I mean, if one of them steps up, great, but you can't count on it. And I don't know if I can count on Severino. I hope to God I can. Big lift he gave them last year. But to me, the Yankees are still a work in progress and a lot of work to be done. And one thing we haven't talked about is the whole vaccination thing, which I don't want to make a big stink about here. Maybe it becomes a later vlog, depending on what happens. But right now, unvaccinated players cannot play in New York City, even in outdoor venues, which means the Yankees and the Mets as well. I believe the Yankees have 3 people. None of them been named. So stop saying Aaron Judge isn't vaccinated until we know. I've seen too many articles calling him out. Maybe he just wants to be a private person and not say whether he's been vaccinated or not. He's got that right. And if he's not vaccinated, well, the Yankees are going to have to deal with it. My hunch is that that New York City's stance on this will change by April 7th, and outdoor venues will not be affected by this. I could be wrong, though. And this is going to affect, we know that it affects Anthony Rizzo. So there's 3 guys besides Anthony Rizzo. I shouldn't say that. Anthony Rizzo was not vaccinated last year. So whether it's happened in the offseason, still we don't know. I'm going to assume he has not, if that was his stance last year. So he's going to have trouble playing home games. That becomes a problem, guys. If we've got 3 important players or 4 important players that cannot play home games for an extended period of time, that's a problem. Yankees are going to have to figure out what they're going to do about that, assuming the issue doesn't go away. So, again, lots of question marks, lots of things for the Yankees to address still as we move through this abbreviated spring training as we head towards opening day, April 7th. We'll have more conversations just like this going forward. So, Yankee fans, I hope you'll comment, and thank you for watching today, and we'll talk to you soon right here on TJ Sports Talk, right here on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. Keith Engel, you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.